Hello, my darlings. How are you? It's been so long since we've had a chance to get together. I'm going to reread a story that I read to you once before, but I think today it'd be very important to reread it because if your mom or your dad or whoever is taking care of you applied for an absentee ballot, it's too late to mail it in, and they must return it to their Board of Elections for wherever they live. Whatever their county, that's where they go to return their ballot to make sure that their vote is counted. Before we begin, you know I have to take my temperature. $97.2. I'm good. Do you know Quay Quay? She's my favorite doll. If you know Serena Williams' daughter, Olympia, she's got a Quay Quay doll, and I've got one too. I'm sorry I've been so busy packing boxes for my busy boxes. These all have to be shipped. There's so much more work that needs to be done, inventory that has to be packed. I am so blessed so many people want a busy box. In the meanwhile, if you remember this story, the day GoGo went to vote takes place in South Africa, and it uses some words we don't use here. So here is my glossary. Please, if I mispronounce a word, forgive me. I don't speak this language. But this word, Gemmer, is pronounced hammer, and that's the ginger beer that they make there. The next one is GoGo. That's the word for grandmother. I think when I become a grandma, that's what I want my grandbabies to call me. Ma, that's what people use in place of the word Mrs. and the word Ushu. Let me try that again. Ushu is a corn and beans meal. It's a dish that lots of people like to eat there. The next phrase, Nkosi Sisi K Eli, Africa means God save Africa. I didn't have enough space to write Africa. Tata is a father or an elder. Tembi is the main character in this story. And Toi Toi is the national dance of South Africa. And I remember when Nelson Mandela came home, everybody in South Africa did the Toi Toi. This story is the day GoGo went to vote. South Africa, 1994. Hi, Auntie Evelyn. The day GoGo went to vote. Written by Eleanor Bazat Cicela. There's a glossary, so you know that I copied the words correctly to tell you how they're supposed to be pronounced. I hope I do a good job. Let's look at the picture, and then I'll read the words. You study the first picture while I read the words on the second page. My GoGo is very, very old. When I ask her how old she is, she says, I am older than this township. When I was born, there were no cars or airplanes. When I ask her if she is older than Tata Nelson Mandela, she laughs and says, Mandela is a young man compared to me. When I come home from school, my mother and father are still at work. So GoGo takes care of me. GoGo calls me her little tail because I follow her everywhere. She lets me carry her beautiful blue cloth bag in which she keeps her important things. Sometimes she tells me to open it and I find sweets inside. When my front teeth fell out, she put them in the bag. The next morning, she told me to look inside. My teeth had disappeared. Instead, there was a 2 rand coin inside. I took the money and I bought a pair of pink earrings. Because she was born in the olden days, GoGo knows a lot. She knows a lot of things that happened a long time ago. She tells me many, many stories that her GoGo told her. She told her about how our ancestors lived before the white people came. She also tells me about the place where our family came from and how we are all related to each other. One day, my father and mother came home very excited because all of the main political parties had agreed to the election dates for a new government. Father explained that April 26, 1994 would be a very special voting day for old people and those who were very sick. Everyone else would vote on April 27th and April 28th. Those 2 days would be holidays, and people would not have to go to work. Good. I will vote with the other old people on April 26th, announced GoGo. We were all shocked when GoGo said she wanted to go because she never goes out of our yard. The last time GoGo went out, it was a long time ago, even before I started school. It was when my father took her to the pensions office. When they came back, GoGo looked very, very sick. Father was very angry. He told Mother how they had to stand in a long line of people for many hours and that the man at the office had shouted at GoGo. When she heard this story, Mother cried. They should not treat our elders like that, she said. After that, GoGo stayed in her room for many days. My heart was sore because my mother would not let me go into her room. GoGo could not tell you any stories because she is very sick. She would say, GoGo is better now, but she never goes out of the yard. Not anymore. She will not even go to church. The priest has to come to our house to pray with her. That is why we were surprised when GoGo said she wanted to go vote. We cannot take you to vote on April 26th because we will be at work, said Father. Then I will go with you on the 27th, said GoGo. How will you go to the polling booth, Father asked GoGo. The same way that you will go there, replied GoGo. But we are going by bus. We cannot have you traveling on a crowded bus. The buses may even be too full for us that day, and we may have to walk. Besides, said Mother, there will be a long line of people at the at the polling station. You will not be able to stand in those lines. Mother and father asked my uncles and aunts to help them tell my GoGo that she could not go to the polls. But GoGo refused to listen. "You want me to die not having voted?" she asked. Our neighbor, Mama Lumbo, came to the fence to ask why all of our family was gathered at our house. While father and mother were talking, I asked GoGo why she wanted to go vote so much. I was worried something bad would happen, like the time when she went to the pensions office. GoGo told me, "Tembi, black people in South Africa have fought for many years for the right to vote. This is the first time we have a chance to vote for our own leaders, and it might be my last. That is why I must go vote. No matter how many lines, no matter how many miles I have to walk, no matter how long I have to stand, I am going to vote." Mama Lambo told her uncle, Mr. Ramushu, a rich man who owns many shops in the township, about GoGo. Mr. Ramushu sent a message to father saying that he would send his own car and driver to take GoGo to vote. I asked the mother and father if I could come along too. At first, they said I was too little, but GoGo told them that I must be there to help carry her blue bag. Soon, it was time for the elections. The night before, we were all so excited we couldn't sleep. Early on the morning of April 27th, we dressed in our best clothes. We were waiting eagerly when Mr. Ramushu's big shiny car stopped in front of our small house. As we helped GoGo in to the car, all of our neighbors came out onto the street. They were cheering. The driver opened the car door for us. My friends shouted, "Look at the Timbys! Look at the bands!" I pretended not to see them. I looked straight in front. I was going to help GoGo to vote. I had no time to laugh and talk to them. There were so many people on that line, lined up at the voting poll. The crowd had to move to let the car through. Mr. Ramushu had told the voting people about GoGo, and they were there waiting for her. They said that she should not stand in line. A woman called, I can't see that. A woman called the presiding officer and guided us into the voting booth. GoGo showed her identity to the voting officers. They then put GoGo's hands under a machine. I asked them what was that for. "It's an ultraviolet machine," explained the presiding officer. "It's against the law to vote twice. The machine helps us to make sure each person votes only once. Look at your GoGo's hands through the glass in front. You cannot see anything on her hands." Now, when we put this colorless liquid on GoGo's hands and put them under the machine for a second time, what do you see? Her hands look blue. What is that? I asked. Because that liquid is invisible ink. You can only see it under this machine. It cannot be washed off, and it will fade away only after 3 days. By that time, the elections will be over. So if GoGo tries to vote at another polling booth in the next 3 days, I said, her hands will show blue under the machine and they will know she has already voted. So that's how you can tell. They gave GoGo a ballot paper to make the voting booth, to take into the voting booth. I wanted to cry when they told me I couldn't go with GoGo into the booth. But GoGo hugged me and said, Tembi, please hold my bag for me while I vote. Why can't I go with GoGo, I asked. Because no one should know who was voting for who, the officer said. But I already know, I said. Shh. It is a secret ballot. That means that you must not tell anyone, they said. Mother told me to stop asking so many questions. The voting officers laughed and said, I have to ask questions. I will be prepared to vote by the time I am 18 years old. When GoGo came out of the voting booth, she put her ballot paper into a big box with an opening on the top, like a money box. Some people with big cameras and flash brights took pictures of her. Then they took a picture of GoGo and me together. GoGo looked tired, but she smiled and held my hand tightly. All the people in the room stood up and clapped for a long time. Mother told me they were clapping for GoGo because she was the oldest voter in our township. Mother and father were crying. I cried too. I don't know why, because I was very happy. When we got home, Mr. Ramushu's beautiful car, our yard was full of neighbors and relatives. My Aunt Sophie cooked, let me get this right, ushu, that's the corn and beans, and a huge pot of hemar, that is the ginger beer. While we were eating, some of my uncles argued about who would win the elections. They became quite angry because they had voted for different parties. Be silent, my father told them. Let us not worry about that now. The important thing is that we can vote, and GoGo has led the way. Everyone began to sing. They sang freedom songs and began to dance. They danced so much, no one remembered to send me to bed. I danced to toity with my older cousins until our feet were sore. When we were too tired to go on, we all sang our national anthem. Nkosi Sikika Lili Africa, which means God save Africa. And then we crawled into our beds. The next day, there was a picture of GoGo and me in the newspaper. My cousins read aloud the words above the pictures, the past and the future. 100-year-old voter, Mrs. M. McConia, accompanied by 6-year-old great-granddaughter Tembi. We felt proud and very important. The whole township celebrated about the elections. When Mr. Nelson Mandela became president of the country, people danced and sang in the streets all day and night. There were many, many parties, and we all enjoyed ourselves. But for me, the best day was when GoGo went to vote. And there it is. That's the end of this story. And you know what I always tell you. But this time, I'm going to let Quay Quay tell you. Take off your mask, Quay. Let's pull it over your head. Aunt Evelyn, you made this mask. It was too small for me, but it was just the right size for Quay Quay, who probably is not happy that I have her upside down right now. But Quay Quay, what are you going to tell everybody? I bet you it's time for Aunt Evelyn to do one too. Go take your nap.